Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show that I believe is going to create a lot of conversation. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, Stephen Curry right now is the man of the hour, and everyone is talking about him. And I think that he deserves all the praise and props that he's getting right now. That dude is on fire. He's on fire, man. He's on fire. And the performance that he put up yesterday, that 50-piece in a Game 7, was arguably the most impressive Game 7 performance probably I've ever seen. Some people are arguing in NBA history. I know we live in a prisoner of the moment era right now where the greatest thing was the last thing that just happened. So I'm going to be careful about that. But nevertheless, it was a stellar performance. Absolute tour de force of performance. Now, after that performance, I went on our channel, community section, and I made some posts about, what would happen if Stephen Curry were to get his 5th ring. Where would he rank all time? And I believe that he should be ranked much closer to LeBron now. Some people have LeBron number 2. And I think those people that have him in number 2 assume that other people do. Most people do as well, but that's just not the case. They're going off of what some people in media say in some sports publications. But people that think exactly for themselves don't feel that way. At least some at least I don't. So anyway, people were kind of going back and forth about that. But then I stated Michael Jordan as well, and it kind of made me think about this particular show that we're producing here today. And I put up another post about Jordan about 5 hours ago that I want to read about a little bit, because I think that we need to think about this thing, because as I was talking about that, it really made me begin to consider what would it take for LeBron to pass Jordan, because I think some LeBron proponents out there are saying that all he needs to do is get ring number 5 and then he's the GOAT, which would mean that some of them believe that he's neck and neck. Now, some people believe that. I don't. So here's my kind of breakdown on it. I want to read what I wrote just a few hours ago. So I said, I see the last post about Curry potentially being top 5 if he gets 5 has stirred up a lot of interesting debates on the channel. Some are asking, what if LeBron gets 5? Where would he be? In my opinion, I think if LeBron gets 5, I think an argument can be made that he is top 3 all time. I could see him being behind Kareem and Jordan. I can see how some will make that argument. I personally will have him neck and neck with Kobe, but here's the thing. In my honest opinion, I think he would need 7 or 8 rings to be neck and neck. 7 or 8 rings to pass Jordan. I think MJ is just that far ahead for a few reasons. Number one, MJ is undefeated in the finals, and LeBron is 4-6. So if he got 5, it means he would be 5-6. That's still a losing record. But more importantly, MJ would still have more finals MVPs, more regular season MVPs, more defensive player of the year awards, a higher scoring average, a higher playoff scoring average, more all defensive selections, and did it all with less help. I think MJ is that far ahead. I truly believe that MJ is higher than number 1. He's on the list by himself, and then there's everyone else. I also believe that if we remove accolades, MJ was the better basketball player, and I think what makes MJ even more incredible is that he was scoring these points in a slower era with less possessions and a slower pace. If we remove accolades, the closest NBA player in my view in terms of basketball is Kobe. But since we can't do that and we have to factor everything, I believe LeBron needs 7 to tie MJ and 8 to pass him, because MJ never got swept in the finals, never melted down in the finals, never got outplayed in any final series or outplayed by a teammate in any playoff run. We can't say Steph doesn't have the accolades to be in the convo with LeBron and then turn right around and say LeBron should pass MJ with less accolades. That would be the height of hypocrisy. Now, this is sounding like a manifesto or something. So those were some of my points there. And I know some people will agree. I read some of the comments. Some people agree. Some disagree. To me, here's the thing. I thought about it and I said, what would it take for LeBron to pass MJ? And I realized 5 wouldn't be enough. 5 would, if you think that 5 would make him better than Jordan, it means that you're not being honest. You're being disingenuous as you're scrutinizing this debate. As you analyze this debate, if you say 5, the next question one would have to ask is, why are you saying that? What exactly is driving you to say this? Like that's crazy talk to me. But I honestly believe that he would need 7 to tie Jordan and 6 and 8 to pass him. Here's why. If LeBron gets 5, I believe he's still behind MJ. MJ is still way ahead. If he gets 6 and he ties MJ in championships, then what we need to do at that point is we need to hold up 2 sheets to do a comparison. And if you look at the 2 players, you now have to ask yourself, okay, who had a more impressive career while winning 6 championships? And I think the overwhelming majority would say Jordan. He did it in less time. Jordan played with the Chicago Bulls for 12 years. He won 6 championships in 12 seasons with the Bulls, then retired. So basically 50% of the time he was with the Chicago Bulls, he was winning NBA championships. That's unheard of. So that's what he did. You would have to look at it and say, but who had the more impressive? Then you got to look at finals records, because some will say, well, he has 6 titles, but then I'm going to ask you, but why did he lose so many in the finals? If you're telling me he's a GOAT, why didn't he win? And then we're going to get into the excuses game. And I don't see how someone that has a losing record, we can turn around and then say that guy is better than the guy that has 100% winning percentage and say he's better than him. I don't know how we do that unless you're rewarding second place prizes. I mean, you would have to be somebody that hands out silver medals and acts like as if they're goals. Like, these are all gold. Why are we counting the first loser? Like, I don't think that's a good thing. And that's not in the spirit of winning. We don't count losses as wins. We count wins as wins and losses as losses. So you'd have to look at that. Then you look at all of the career stats and averages and all of that. And I think all of that, to be totally frank with you, is leaning in the direction of MJ. Michael Jordan has more 40-point games than Stephen Curry and LeBron James combined. It's a joke when we even talk about offense. And then we got to look at them as basketball players. Well, who was the better player? To me, I think it's Jordan by a very, very, very wide. And I know some people get offended when I say this. So let me systematically quantify why, or rather justify why I'm saying this. Let's look at it from a basketball standpoint. They're really 3 facets of basketball, and you can get into all of the various nuances. Offense, defense, playmaking. Let's look at the categories. Where did Jordan dominate the most? Offense, well, it's a foregone conclusion. Foregone conclusion. Defense, this is nothing to discuss here. So out of those two of the 3 major categories of being a great basketball player, in terms of your effect, Jordan wins that by a landslide. Then you have playmaking. Now, LeBron is a slightly better playmaker, but Jordan, if he played the same position as LeBron, and when he's asked to play a point guard, Jordan has averaged over 8 assists per game while averaging 30 points per game. So they play slightly different roles, but I don't see how it's close if we're just looking at them as players in a vacuum. I don't see it. I think if you lined up 100 people in a gymnasium and you said, okay, here's Michael Jordan, here's LeBron in their primes, who would you pick if you want to win a game 5-on-5 or whatever? I think maybe 95% of those people are going to pick Jordan. I think the remaining 5 is going to be Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, Kendrick Perkins, Jay Williams, and whoever else I'm missing. It'll be those 5 too. Everybody else is picking Jordan. Also, we got to look at the eye test, and a lot of people don't factor that in. Basketball is a sport that you watch. You don't read it on a stat sheet. If you watch these guys play ball, you will clearly see who was the more superior player. Clearly. Like, I don't even understand what's the conversation really all about. So to me, I don't think it's close. I think if he gets 6, I think that's a slap in the face to MJ, because it basically says you guys are ignoring losing and you guys are not rewarding perfection in winning. So to me, I think 7 ties him because 6 is not enough. And I think 8, if he wins 8, then I'll say, man, you got it. You're the greatest of all time. Because I think with 8, LeBron would just have over a 500 winning percentage in the finals, which is crazy. which is crazy. Kobe went to the finals 7 times. He's 5-2. MJ went 6 times. He's 100%. Most of these guys go to the finals. Kareem is 6-4. I think Kareem went to the finals 10 times, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I think Magic Johnson went either 7 or 8 times. I could be wrong about that. I think 7 or 8 times. I could be wrong about that. So to me, man, I think Jordan is still the standard. And I think Jordan is in a class all by himself. He's in a class, and I think there was a channel I heard, I think it was Get Like Hoop or something like that. And they asked LeBron, they were like, what do you think about Jordan? He said, I'm still chasing the ghost. And the guy on the show says, if you're chasing something, wouldn't that mean you're behind that thing? I was like, oh, what a very interesting point. He's like, if you're chasing something, it would mean that you're behind it. So why would you be chasing something that you're ahead of? I was like, oh, damn. This guy made a hell of a point. So to me, man, I think let's pump the brakes. Let's not twerk too hard. I think Jordan is still the gold standard. And I think he's the best. I think he's the standard. And I don't even think Jordan should be on a top like 10. I really believe it. I think Jordan should be on you should have the top 10, and then you should have like another sheet of paper where you just have Jordan. And we're really trying to argue, okay, well, where do all of these guys rank? Because none of them are on this guy's sheet. This is just my opinion. As disrespectful as that may sound, I think he was that good. I think he was that good.